I'm Joan, and I'm your first Golden Bachelorette.
Yeah, she did.
She came here for love. Joan is going to find it if it's the last thing she does.
Oh, that got
Welcome to our Golden Bachelorette recap. This is episode 4. We have Brittany, that's me. We have Kendall.
Hi.
We have Mike.
Hello.
And of course, we have Dawn. Our ride or dies as we watch Joan try to take on love in all the weirdest places. And sure enough, they headed to Chippendales.
Oh my God, this was my favorite episode.
Same. It was so unhinged.
Why does this not surprise me at all about you two?
Didn't it just feel like, what are we doing? And then it was like, they had all of a sudden, because it was like, this is weird. I feel like this is kind of weird. And then they're like, but it's for cancer research.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, but it's for cancer. And
Like-
then everyone's like, sure, I'll take my clothes off.
And can we clear something up? As people who raise money a lot, at no point did they say how much they raised or how they were raising money.
I know.
That's a
Why
good
did they give the
point.
listeners a chance or the viewers a chance to donate because they could have made so much more money?
That's so true. I never even thought of that.
I literally was like, me and my mom kept, shout out Beverly. There's a lot of your
Hey,
commentary.
Beverly.
A lot of
Beverly.
times. Yeah, my mom was like, well, wait, how much did they raise? I was like, I don't know.
And isn't that the same central casting extras that they've used for the prom and everything else?
Exactly. Because I even thought to myself, like, what did that email look like? Like, hey, show up for this. You know, it's pretty much them having like a chance to be on the show for free, and they dressed up. But I was like, nobody put any money to be here.
Other
I know
than in
that.
people's pants.
Yeah, but not even enough of that to like help cancer research. Like,
Yeah, show us the money.
thank you. I also feel like we are kind of walking that line of don't make these men do this much. Like, their insurances like can't handle this right now.
I was surprised. I was pleasantly surprised by what Chalk had going on underneath those t-shirts. I mean, I knew Jonathan would be hot. You knew
Jonathan
that.
is like a real legitimate stripper, I think, on the side.
That's what I was
So
thinking.
hot. He's busy in Iowa.
When
you know?
when he's pulled it off where he's wearing those little shorts and then gave her the shorts after.
Yeah.
That was a little
It was a weird vibe. I didn't like it. No, I'll tell you
liked
this.
it.
I'll tell you this right now, though. No woman wants your dirty underwear. Ever.
Even if they're like sparkly panties.
We just assume you're asking us to clean it. We don't want them.
want it.
Don't want them.
It's ishy.
We had a lot of men supporting men, which we support. We love to see it.
A lot of hugs.
Yeah. I think that we have to acknowledge that. I'm sorry. I know that right now, Kendall, you're relying on Pascal. He's also just relying on being hot. He didn't really bring a lot of A game to the Chippendales
I
dancing.
know. He even had to have an extra conversation with her explaining that, like, yes, he's in it and he's into her, but he's just like a little not into the whole competition
Oh,
thing.
if that wasn't foreshadowing, I don't know what is.
Is it just because he's French? I do not know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. You got to stick around, though, and we'll reveal why.
Well, Chalk went ahead and got the group rose. He's into her. And I will say this, he is more likable in conversations with her than without her. Like, he lights up in a way where I go, I still don't like him, but he's more likable when she's around.
Right. Mike, how do you feel about Chalk? Why
I'm
don't you
not a
tell
fan.
Everybody?
Go, tell us. He's my pick.
He's got just, I'm happy you had him. He was my pick before we actually got to know them. Then I got to know him. He just feels sleazy. He always feels like that used car salesman, always trying to sell. And then I sent you guys all a message saying, man, this guy is so disingenuous. And then 3 seconds later, we found out his mom died.
His mom died.
And I was like, okay, I'm sorry.
Mike's like, am I a
Like,
monster?
don't worry, we won't tell everyone the horrible things you said
And, like,
about him.
That was definitely a moment where two things can be true.
Yeah.
We can feel bad for Chalk and also still hate him. I just
I even hate him, and he's my pick.
I know.
I'm serious. He gives me. He's always so on her, like with his hand on her knee. It gets creeping up closer and closer.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, I don't know if she wants to be physically touched all the time. Like
Shock's
that to me
lonely.
would be like, oh. Sometimes it gives me the ick, and I'm like, just get your hands off me.
Well,
Yeah.
let's just say that I hate to get it back to the gamification of it, but I did feel like screaming into a pillow when Chalk said goodbye to Joan, and she was all depressed, and then had to go on a date with my only pick left,
I almost
Jordan.
texted you and said, "Oh, poor Jordan."
It wasn't looking good for a minute there.
No, me and my mom looked at each other and went, "Oh no, this is not good for me and Jordan." She somehow was able to kind of bring it all together and still have a lovely time. This wasn't a shout out to Red Wing. We saw Rydell skates.
That's right.
They zoomed in on that. Shout out
Hometown.
the Riegelman
family.
And
What's
then
up?
I will say this, you guys. I don't know. I don't think she just is a person that wants to be kissed as much as people want to kiss her on camera.
like deep,
I know.
deep kissing.
I know. Like I was like, Jordan, bring it back 45 notches.
Oh my God.
I still just don't see that. Like those two.
Well,
There's just no.
No.
I wrote in all caps, Jordan is the hottest guy.
Oh, he's by far the hottest guy.
Like good looking.
Jonathan and Jordan, the Jays.
Yes.
They got it going on.
Those dimples and the ice skating date. Well, I'll let you get into that. If you
No,
want
get
to.
into it, girl.
Okay, so I feel like this is a big difference between Pascal's date, flying on a private
I
jet,
know.
going to Vegas. I mean, what is this? This
I
is
know.
like a little frozen conference room.
I know. I just kept writing-
Mario Speedwagon.
I just kept writing, why?
Yeah.
Why all the time? Why are we?
Team Kendall is fancy, okay?
Yeah.
That's all.
I literally but it was just so funny. Like, why are we ice skating in California right now? Like, what? Why?
It
Why?
sounded romantic.
And he doesn't even know how to skate. So I
And
was
that
Clearly.
fall was really bad.
again, this should be illegal to be putting our elderly people in risk like this.
I thought the kickball tournament was bad, but that
Yeah,
fall
that
was
was-
brutal.
That could have taken me out of the competition completely.
I know. We do have to. It was a pretty big get to get Ario, or maybe that's just like my classic rock roots shining, where I was like, I can't believe Ario is on there.
You're just comparing him to Wayne Newton, though, so it's really not that big of a get, but it feels bigger than
It was
Wayne.
exciting.
Yeah.
Well, that day was lame, but then Guy, I mean, they had a beautiful house they went to. They
Okay,
literally
we need to
cooked
talk
dinner.
about Guy. So
Also
Guy,
my guy.
yeah, I'm so sorry, Don, but you also have all 4 left, so we're gonna dunk on some of them.
Yeah, we have to.
Guy, who is a doctor in the ER, an ER doctor. Watching him zest a lime and attempting to cut onions was the biggest embarrassment to the human race I've ever seen. Mortifying.
Okay, some of us don't cook.
I was even going to say, do you
I'm
know
sorry. Some of us don't cook. I if someone handed me things like that in a kitchen, I would go
Like a lemon?
a zester?
until someone showed me how to do it. I didn't know. how
Oh
to
no,
do it.
Kendall. Oh no, I didn't. You don't know how to zest a lemon.
I do now because I bake and there's some lemon zested involved. But I can't chopping onions. Every time I chop an onion, Jordan's like, my Jordan, not the show Jordan, is like, no, babe, just step away from the sharp
He looked
objects.
like he had Barbie hands that wouldn't close on things.
Yeah.
Like it looked like he couldn't grip on it.
You know what? He uses his hands for very specific things.
Why are you
Okay.
defending Guy? He's not yours.
I don't know. I think I'm Team Guy now. I think I'm Team Guy now.
And I had to say, because then when Guy went into detail about he's 34, divorced, and I said, maybe you should have learned how to cook.
Oh, he was married for 34 years.
Yeah, 34 years married. I'm sorry. Yeah, 34 years married. 34. He's a really young
my age. This is great.
He's fine. No, was married for 34 years out of nowhere. He's like, I don't know why she divorced me. And I was like, watch this clip.
I think, just to give a shout out to all the doctors out there, when you're early on in your career, you're not at home a lot. And so maybe that was just like, it was kids. It was like, I am always at the hospital. And then after that, when you're more settled, then it's like, who are we?
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
it seemed like what happened. I didn't find there to be any chemistry between them.
Not.
Is that just me?
I am
don't think so either.
1,000%
Going
with
into
you.
the episode, I was kind of really liking what he was doing the last couple of episodes, and I thought he was working his way up, and I thought he might be one of the favorites. And then the zesting moment happened, and again, he just looked so out of place, looked so uncomfortable, looked like the type of guy who gets frustrated easily at things, and I'm just like, that's such an ick. No, thank you.
Yeah, I think that is a perfect way to describe it. When
He
we
has
get
great teeth.
He does have that.
Thank you.
he has a lot of teeth.
Got all of them are pearly whites.
Yeah.
Joan took to these streets and pulled Pascal aside to say, do you even like me?
Step up, buddy.
Hey, Pascal, do you even know who I am? And Pascal's like, sometimes I don't.
Pascal's like, what do you mean? I do like you. I just do not like this sharing you thing.
Kind of begs the question, like in a reality show, can you win if you're not going full chalk? Or do you have? Or can other personalities exist?
Right.
Because there's such a difference. I would be like Pascal. In a group, I'm not going to be competing to talk.
No.
I'm not going to be competing to like get in the front. It's just not me. And so I feel his pain.
Oh, totally. I mean, Don,
Brittany, you would definitely love to do the striptease competition.
Yeah. But like, I'm also tall and look great in heels. Like,
Oh, yeah.
but I will say this. The idea of competing for a man couldn't be me, doll. Like, if I didn't have 100%, like, I'd be so, and maybe this is the insecurity in me or the vulnerability in me. Like, I would suck at this. Like, the aggressiveness that you need, I think we all would kind of go, can I do this? Like, I would almost have to be disingenuous with how much I like them because I'd have to be so aggressive and change my personality.
Yeah.
Especially if you go on a one-on-one. I think that's when a lot of them just change their tune of either they don't want to do these group dates because they hate seeing the person with somebody else because it means a lot more to them.
Yeah.
Or they're like, this is just dumb. Like, I don't want to. Either way, they don't usually want to go on group dates after that.
Yeah, that would be hard. And that's when we got the quote, the air of indifference, which I think is also going to be on his tombstone when he leaves here. Because I think that was foreshadowing. I thought it was foreshadowing for tonight. So I think it's foreshadowing for very soon. Yeah.
We did get another sponsor.
We did get
Cheerios.
And I thought to myself,
Is that Quaker Oats?
it's not. So me and Mike looked into
We looked into it, yeah. General Mills is Cheerios, and PepsiCo actually owns Quaker.
That's right.
Wow.
And so I'm like, Quaker Oats, does QO know about this? Are they shaking in their boots? Like,
QO.
what is happening?
Also, I want to know what Joan does. She says she wakes up at like
5 a.m.
Yeah, she wakes up at 5
what does
to
she
work
do?
out, walk her dog, get ready, and she's on her way to work
She's a
by
school,
7:15.
She's a school administrator.
Oh, okay. 'Cause I'm like, what could she take off this much time for? That makes sense because it'd be over the summer.
She has office lady vibes, and I mean that in the best way possible.
Yes.
Like, you need to call your mom, honey. Like, in a yes, I do.
It's like, okay, Miss Joan. Yeah,
Totally.
100%.
It's like you could say anything to her, the weirdest thing, and she would go, okay.
All right, let's take it. Let's find that retainer in this garbage.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can do this.
Yeah. She has a really good poker face. Like you don't really, like she gives empathy, but also they could spill their guts about, their dead wife. And she's just like, oh, yeah, that's very tough. I know.
Yeah.
So was it right after she talked to Pascal that Chalk showed back up?
No, we still had the Keith moment with him doing yoga, and I was so uncomfortable, but also I've been Keith many times in my life where you think something, you're like, I think it went well. And you're like, no, you were a crazy person during that interview.
No, Keith apologized. Keith was like, because he even went up to the next person, was like, I think I just lost it. And I thought he lost it too. He's my number one pick. He got the first impression rose. He basically started talking to her like, she said, how do you see your future? And he's like, when I envision my future, I often think of the future as a vision of my future. And I guess
like
I really
some
don't
people
think of
have
it.
maps.
Like,
that's what it was like.
Yeah,
Like Christine, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Like
totally.
It's like he was having a stroke.
It was not good.
It was kind of like you have to hit a certain word count in an essay, so you just do those filler sentences over and over again.
I thought he was gone after that. I was like, uh-oh, I just lost
really
my number one
bad.
pick.
But then later in the confessional, he's like, all in all, I think it's okay. And I was like,
I didn't sweat on the food.
I know. I'm like, I am so him where like the farther I get away from a mortifying situation, I'm like, I think it went okay. No, Keith, it did not.
It did
didn't
not.
go okay.
I feel like he's got a redemption episode coming up next episode. Since he made it, I think we're going to get a one-on-one date where you actually get to see him come out a little bit.
Hot take.
Yeah.
He is her body type that she likes. Like I think she's more comfortable with a more.
Yeah, I don't think she wants someone super duper fit.
No, I think
Really?
that's
What gives you then?
because I think she always she leans towards like a little bit bigger guys when it comes to like feeling safe and comfy.
Okay, sure. That's kind of an old-fashioned thing.
Yeah, and it feels like that is more of her vibe. I mean, it was her first impression, Rose.
Yeah, and it was her first impression, Rose, and I agree. I think I get the impression from her like fitness and being healthy is super important to her, but that if she was with long term somebody who was like so into fitness at this point in their life that it like mattered what they looked like so much. I don't think she'd like that because then she would feel like she needed to do more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And maybe you and I are projecting, which I do think
We're
we fall.
projecting 100%. 100%.
I want somebody who's fit, but not fitter than me because I don't
Yeah.
want to feel guilty.
I don't want to feel like I need to work out more.
Thank you. Well, for the shortest goodbye ever, Chuck is back.
Oh my God. I was like, oh, he's back so soon.
It took like 2 days.
It was literally like, I'm
like,
leaving.
shouldn't you have stayed longer? Your mother passed away.
So weird.
Oh.
I don't get it.
It's like, are you okay, Chris?
Okay, I'm not okay because I thought the same thing.
And he's my guy.
I know he's your guy. There's just so much there. At first, I was like, is this the host pulling her aside? And then I was like, Chuck's back? He didn't technically even, I feel like, have to tell her that he was leaving because she wouldn't have known.
No.
Like, it was just like it's very drama llama, like, I'm leaving. And then I'm literally, I think it was a day. I think it was an actual day of him going there and back.
Well, I'm
Wanted
sure
him
that
to
they
be gone forever.
Same.
No, you guys, I don't mind Chuck at all. What does that say about me?
I don't know. What does it
You
say
like
about
a
you?
lot of attention?
Yeah, I love a lot of attention.
Okay.
She
I
does.
need a lot of attention.
Loves it.
I wrote, I don't like one of my guys. Desperate. He gives me the cling creeps.
Oh, I want him to cling on so hard.
Oh,
When I met Jordan,
is.
oh my gosh, when I met my husband, that
Yeah.
man had to work hard and it needed to be all the attention.
Oh,
That's
that's
great.
really romantic.
I feel like you've
I
set
like
him
Chuck.
and you've set him up for success because you're like, Jordan, this is actually what I want. I will say this: Beverly thinks that Chuck absolutely clinched it by the "I'm leaving and I'm coming back" thing. Like, I know it wasn't. I know it wasn't a trick, but just hear me out. I do feel like it definitely gave her a sense of panic, made her think about, because I really think that her, when she left Gary, she like tapped back into that and like what we had and what we could have had. Like there's something that clicked in her brain in a weird way where she's like, I think of Chuck like better now. in a
Oh,
weird
yeah.
way.
She's like, he's the one I see a future with the most.
You may notice she said earlier in the episode that he was the only one when she
Yeah.
left. And then when he returned, she made the comment, now I can see the future with a couple of the men
Yeah.
here. She made an extra quote saying, I see the future now with more than one,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is
He made her-
interesting.
He made her chalk and noodle soup.
Oh, my.
I think it's adorable.
Everything about
Are you trying to trade for him? What are you doing?
what are
Maybe.
you
Am
doing?
I trying to get on
Well, you only got
track?
Pascal left, so
I just think,
hey.
I was like,
Rub it in.
how are you attracted to him?
I
When I say you, I'm talking to Joan in
Yeah,
the
I know.
TV.
yeah.
I'm talking to Kendall.
And Kendall. I think actually we should aggressively approach this.
Well,
So we had a rose ceremony and we lost 4 men. Kendall lost 3 men on her team. She went from 4 full team to 1 person, and I was in heaven.
girl, my team evaporated. It went
We lost.
in one night.
This is what I wrote. We lost Dan, Gary, Charles L., and who the hell was that other man?
Gil. You guys, we did not see Gil's striptease, and I noticed. I was like,
know.
they didn't even show his striptease.
Mama Don wanted her mommy to.
You know, we went into this rose ceremony and I remember, and I thought to myself, ooh, this is not looking good for my number 1 pick, Dan. Like, they
No.
haven't showcased
Oh
him
my
at all this
gosh, that
episode.
surprised
he hasn't
me.
gone on a 1-on-1 date yet. Like, I feel like he got a pity rose one time now. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
that's not looking good. Gil never had a chance. I love Gary. Gary's my pick, but she was not going to pick Gary.
I know, Gary.
Girl, why shouldn't she pick Gary? I'm like, Gary is at this point in your life. Don't you just want to have fun with somebody?
I know, but here's the thing. She has to be honest. As much as I loved having Gary and Charles L there, like literally, I think Charles L healed
just
all
for
my
comic.
depression that ever existed.
I know,
But like, there was no chemistry between Charles L,
Yeah.
Gary, and Dawn. There was
I
nothing
know.
there.
Yeah, Charles, but when he got kicked off, I loved his answer. He's like, I achieved so much more than I thought because of
Yeah.
the friendships I made here. And all of these guys have gone through, well, either a divorce or some type of they're widowers.
Yeah.
And so to have that camaraderie between men, and that's just don't, Mike. I mean, you're a guy.
Yeah, no,
Wouldn't
that's
that
what
be fun.
Again, that's what I love about this show, and that's what
Yeah.
Dan really drove home too.
Yes.
Dan got really emotional, and he was just like, "I live alone, and I haven't had a lot of people in my life, and now I'm living in this house full of brothers, and this was an
I miss
amazing
this.
experience. I really love this show.
I cried a little.
Yeah, I
Me
did too.
Okay, I didn't cry, but I did go, oh, that was really sweet.
I know. I kept holding my mom's hand, and she's like, "I'll let you do this." Like it was just like it was just yes. Well, especially okay. So I was like, when Chalk's mom died, I actually got so sad thinking about he wasn't there because he's there. I mean, he lives with his mom, and that so this show is just hitting all the feels. All right, let's go around. Dawn first. Who do you got left in your round of men?
Mark, Guy, and Chalk.
Wow, bragger.
I know. Kendall, who do you got left?
We got Pascal, baby.
Mike, who do you got left?
I've got Keith and Jonathan.
And I'm holding on to hope with Jordan.
Keep holding, baby. Keep
Thank
holding.
you. There's nothing there. If we could just say too, who do you think she has connections with at this point?
Chalk.
Chalk.
I think she's got a
Jonathan.
connection with
Jonathan.
Mark as well.
Mark.
Yeah, Mark. Okay.
All right.
Pascal intrigues her, baby. He might be there for one more week.
I mean, I'm kind of hoping Pascal's there for us after.
I'm just saying.
Thank you so much for listening. We'll be recapping all of the episodes of Golden Bachelorette.